Hen Vlad fi Naddau.
Outside of Wales, that phrase may not mean much to you, but here it titles perhaps the most important song in the history of our nation, a nation steeped in rich culture, national pride and extensive history. Hen Vlad fi Naddau's verses capture the life and soul of our country, but how did it come to be so popular and important? Who created it, and where was it composed? I set out to do some research and find out the answers to these questions. From online research and a visit to my local history library in Bridgend, I discovered quite quickly that all leads seemed to guide me to Pontypridd, so that was where I chose to go. It was not the first time that I had been to Pontypridd, up in the Rhondda. I'd been a few months before to do some writing and take a few photographs. Unfortunately, upon my subsequent return, the weather wasn't quite so inviting. In English, Pontypridd translates into bridge by the earthen house, which calls back to the time when there were a number of wooden bridges that spanned the length of the River Taff. It is also famous for another bridge, a large old stone one, which was built by William Edwards in the 18th century. I was sure to pay it a brief visit when I strolled around town. These are the two statues that put me on the trail in the first place. After an inspection of Ynys Memorial Park, complete with visiting the monument to Evan and James James, which also happens to be where Evan James is buried along with his wife, I decided to visit the local library and hit the books. So far, my research has led me to conclude that the national anthem was completed in 1856 and was written by Evan James and composed by his son, James James. Were there any further details on its genesis? I caught up with local author Gwyn Griffiths in order to learn some more.
Evan had received a letter saying, well, come over, it's a great land of opportunity, this beautiful land and all this space and things, you'll make a fortune, And he'd been thinking about it for a while, and then he suddenly says, no, I don't think so. So he writes his response in verse, my hame lad had I an annual in me. The land of my father is dear to me, so I don't want to come to him. And then he goes on to praise Wales. I mean, it's an attractive story.
Where was it first performed? Apparently not Pontypridd officially, as Gwyn Griffiths says.
A Pontypridd singer named Elizabeth John sang it in Tabor Chapel in my stay, which is now it's no longer a chapel. Although there is a chapel of that name in my stay, but the original one is now a working men's club.
Armed with this information, a friend and I went to my stag in order to chase up the working men's club. We eventually found the building.
Nice building. That's not good. Oh, Jesus Christ. It's madness.
As well as the library and the War Memorial Park, Pontypridd has an extensive local history museum in which I paid a visit. There, I found a lot of cool relevant exhibits, including a family harp, some mantelpiece ornaments that belonged to Evan James, and the chair that the national anthem was supposed to have been composed in. I went on to ask Gwyn Griffiths to provide more details regarding Evan James, James, and Pontypridd at the time.
Well, Pontypridd is essential to the story because the song was composed, the words were written here, the music was composed here in Pontypridd. 1856. There was no place in Wales which had a livelier group of poets meeting in pubs. And they used to meet in this pub, Llanover-Arms, you know. And not only that, but one of Evan James's brothers, Thomas James, or Thomas ap Iago, as he called himself, was kept the pub kept this very pub. I think, as far as we know, it's been the first anthem ever to be sung at a sporting event. When Wales beat the All Blacks in, I can't remember, was it 1904 or I think it was 1904, maybe 1905, I'm not sure. But you know, they actually sang it on that occasion because I mean, there was a haka, they were doing the haka and people thought, oh, this is going to strike terror into the hearts of the Welsh players. So, you know, somebody writing in the Western Mail from the Rhondda said, let's sing Hen Lad Van Hadda. You know, that will strike terror into the hearts of the All Blacks, and they went on and beat the All Blacks in a famous game. Hasn't had the same effect since, you know. There has been from time to time, you see, there have been attempts, you know, to dislodge it as the national anthem of Wales. And quite a few people have had a go over the years, you know, but it is a song by popular demand. It is the people's song, and it sticks there. You know, it will not be moved, as far as I can see, anyway.
150 years to go strong.
Yeah.